For most of you, immigrating to Canada is your end goal or priority. There are many pathways to immigrate to Canada, and the Express Entry program is one of them. Through this program, I was able to get my permanent residency in Canada. And so after months of studying and understanding the process by personally going through it, I want to share what it's all about and who it's for in the simplest way possible. Moreover, I'll try to do something I've never done before, which is to show you guys the step-by-step process in determining if this program is for you or not. This is going to be a long and loaded video, so I hope you're comfortable in your seat, preferably with a pen and paper on hand and some snacks. And so without further ado, let's begin. There are several immigration pathways to Canada, and the Express Entry system is one of them. But what is Express Entry anyway? Well, Express Entry is a points-based system that invites skilled workers to become permanent residents of Canada. In order to start, you must create what is called an Express Entry profile. You will answer some questions under these 6 broad categories, namely personal details, contact details, study and languages, application details, representative, and work history. After creating this profile, you will then be assigned a score based on your background. The points assigned to you are made up of several factors, including but not limited to age, English proficiency, education, work experience in or outside of Canada. Once you receive your score, you will then join a pool of candidates and wait to be invited for PR. But Rach, how will I know if I got invited? Good question. IRCC conducts draws generally every 2 weeks, and you can find that in IRCC's Rounds of Invitations page, which I've also linked in the description box below. It basically acts as a filtration system for IRCC to determine who to invite for PR or not. From this page, IRCC will announce a cutoff score. If your score exceeds IRCC's cutoff score, well, congratulations, you will get an invitation to apply for PR. You will be prompted by email shortly after to submit a PR application. Now, if your score is equal to IRCC's cutoff score, well, there's a catch. You need to have submitted your profile on or before IRCC's cutoff date to get invited to apply for PR. In these circumstances, it's good to submit an Express Entry profile as soon as you qualify, just because if your score is equal to the cutoff score, they will prioritize those that submitted their profile first. Now, if your score is lower than IRCC's cutoff score, well, unfortunately, you will have to remain in the pool until you get an invitation to apply for PR or until your Express Entry profile expires. Yes, Express Entry profiles have a validity of only 1 year. After 1 year of not getting an ITA, you will have to submit a new profile to join the pool again. So in summary, the program is made up of 2 parts. One part is submitting an expression of interest, aka an Express Entry profile, and the other part includes getting an invitation to apply for PR in order to proceed with a permanent residency application. Even when you get invited and submit a PR application, it doesn't necessarily mean that you will get PR right away. Immigrations Canada still has to go through the long vetting process to make sure that you meet all the requirements before approving your PR status in Canada. This long vetting process approximately takes 6 to 12 months from the day you submit a PR application. If you pass all eligibility, you will be approved for PR. So as someone who studied this program and was basically a lab rat in this whole experiment, if I were to explain what the Express Entry is all about in just 1 sentence, it would be this. Express Entry in a nutshell is a game of strategy and luck. Next, it's also good to know the 3 programs under Express Entry, namely Canadian Experience Class, Federal Skilled Workers Program, and the Federal Skilled Trades. I'll refer to each as CEC, FSW, and FST respectively. So what's unique about them, or what are the differences? Okay, let's break it down. Let's start with CEC. CEC, as the name suggests, is for skilled workers that have Canadian work experience that want to become PR. Some of the eligibility requirements for this program are as follows. Number one, you must meet the required language levels. If your job falls under a professional or managerial job, aka a knock A or 0 job, you need at least a CLB 7 to qualify. But if your job falls under a technical skill job or a knock B level job, you need at least a CLB 5 to qualify. By the way, if you're uncertain of the knock level your job falls under, you can verify it using the link found in the description box below, so make sure to check that out. The second requirement is that you must have at least a 1-year skilled job in Canada in the last 3 years before you apply. There are several ways you can meet this requirement, but I'll project it on the screen so that you can pause and read it at your own convenience. Third and lastly, you must be authorized to work in Canada when you gained your work experience here. That means you must have held a valid work permit while you were working a skilled job here in Canada. Okay, moving on, let's now talk about the FSW program. If you don't have skilled work experience in Canada, but you do have skilled work experience from your home country, you may qualify for the FSW program. However, the eligibility requirements are more stringent compared to CEC because number one, you must now get a CLB 7 in all abilities regardless of your skilled level job. Second, you must now have at least 1 year continuous skilled work experience from your home country. Third and lastly, you must also show proof that you have enough funds for you and your family to settle here in Canada. Last but not least, there's the FST or the Federal Skilled Trades. The FST program is for qualified skilled trade workers that want to become PR. To be eligible, you must number one, meet again its language requirements, but this time you only need a CLB 5 for speaking and listening and a CLB 4 for reading and writing. Second, you must have at least 2 years of skilled work experience in a skilled trade job within the last 5 years before you apply. Third, you must also have a valid job offer of full-time employment for a total of 1 year, or have a certificate of qualification issued by a Canadian provincial, territorial, or federal authority. By the way, guys, there are actually more prerequisites to be eligible under these programs, and it's beyond the scope of this video to describe each one. My main point is to only highlight the differences, that way you know a little bit about each program. But anyway, for those wanting more information, IRCC gave a pretty good table summary noting the requirements under each program. I will also include the link in the description box below for you to check out. Now that we know more about Express Entry and its 3 programs, the next step is to check if we're even eligible to apply for it. IRCC has a free tool for you to do so. So I'll take you through the questions, but answer these questions accordingly. So with that, I need to go back to the office, so I'll see you there. Okay guys, I'm now going to show you how to check your eligibility for the Express Entry program. So let's begin. The first step is to go to Google and type, "Do you want to come to Canada as a skilled immigrant?" Now, scroll to the bottom of the page and click the button, Check Your Eligibility. You will then be directed to this page. So now we'll have to answer a series of questions. So the first question is, if you don't know yet, choose the province or territory you are most interested in. So in this case, I'm interested to go to British Columbia, so I selected BC. Click Next. You need to submit language test results for all programs under the Express Entry, even if English or French is your first language. So which language test did you take for your first official language? So in short, you must take a language proficiency exam in order to be eligible for the Express Entry program. I took the IELTS, which is one of the accepted English proficiency exams for immigration. Click Next. Okay, so now the next page will ask you when you took the test. So for those that don't know, the IELTS has a validity of 2 years. So make sure your English test results are valid when you submit an Express Entry profile. In this case, I took mine on May 18, 2019, so it's good to know that it's still valid. Click Next. Alright, so now it's asking me to input my score for each category. So just enter your score accordingly for speaking, listening, reading, and writing. So in this case, I got an 8.5 for speaking, an 8.5 for listening, a 7.5 for reading, and a 6.5 for writing. Not my best, but oh well. Click Next. Do you have any other language results? Which language test did you take for your second official language? This part is optional, so you're not required to take a second language proficiency exam. But if you do, it may increase your score for express entry, so I'm just letting you know. For my case, I did not take any other language test result, which is why I answered none. Click Next. In the last 3 years, how many years of skilled work experience do you have in Canada? So it must have been full-time or an equal amount in part-time. This question is asking if you have in Canada skilled work experience. So in my case, I was fortunate to work a skilled level B job after graduation, and I worked in that job for over 1 year while on a postgrad work permit. So I answered 1 year or more. Below that, there's another question. During this period, which national occupation classification level is most of the experience in? So if you do not have any Canadian work experience during this period, please choose none of the above. In my case, I do have Canadian work experience that belonged in a NOC level B job, hence I will select skill level B. Click Next. So based on my answers, it appears that I am eligible for express entry. This page has outlined all the steps that I need to do in order to create an express entry profile to join the pool. Now, I want to bring your attention to the last 2 questions from this tool. The reason why IRCC is asking these 2 questions is to determine if you're eligible to apply for express entry under CEC. Now, if you don't have in Canada work experience, you may still be eligible for express entry, but you will not qualify for CEC. Instead, IRCC wants to know if you at least qualify for FSW or FST. So going back, if I answered none for the first question and none of the above for the second question and click Next, the tool will then ask me this. In the last 10 years, how many years of skilled work experience do you have? It must have been continuous, paid, full-time or equal amount in part-time, and in only one occupation. If you have skilled work experience following these requirements, you may be eligible for FSW. Whereas the second question is asking if you have at least 2 years of experience in one of these type of jobs outlined below. If you do, you may qualify for FST. But anyway, that's how you check if you're eligible for express entry. My main goal was to show you that this tool in fact exists, and it's a free tool found on IRCC's website. So make sure to check if you're eligible under this program before submitting an express entry profile. Anyway, that's it. That's all I have for today. If you made it this far, thank you for your patience. I hope you guys got some helpful tips, and if you do have additional questions about the express entry program, feel free to comment down below and I'll try my best to accommodate. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers!